Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, throw open your windows and call out to your neighbors. It's time for John Perrotta's Comedy Factory Zoom-A-Looza, sponsored in part by Tonka Trucks. And now, the man that owns the Ride-On Dig and Dump Bulldozer, your host, John Perrotta.
Wow. How did you know I did a bit on a Tonka truck with my son years ago? You remember that bit? I used to say he came running in the bedroom with screaming at the top of his lungs, "Where's my red Tonka truck?" at 3 in the morning. That's in my act. And they're the sponsor tonight?
That's the sponsor tonight, John.
Do they still make Tonka trucks?
They still do.
Wow, that's cool. And what do you make besides Mediterranean omelets that you send me every day?
Trouble.
You know, that's pretty much what Grampy Mike's life is made of today. Eating late at night and then taking pictures and sending it to you.
Well,
are you eating Tatanka?
Right? Seriously.
Listen, we got a panel cast of characters tonight. We got my good friend from Periwinkles in the early 90s where I met her, the very funny from Ocean State Follies back in the day, Alison O'Donnell, author. Alison, how you doing tonight?
Doing fine, brother. How you doing?
I love it when you call me brother. I bought your book. Remember, your first book.
You're the one.
Who's the guy that bought the book?
I bought it too.
Who said
Jay
that?
Burns bought it. Mike is still looking for his checkbook.
When did that happen?
Mike is still looking for his checkbook. He's going to buy a book.
I got to buy that.
Might need it. Good advice on online dating.
Yeah, it's Cupid. It's all about Cupid, Mike. Dating. You know what I mean? And we got the very funny. She's
So
a
that
first
is my
responder.
question.
Hold on, Cronin. We're introducing the panel.
I'm sorry.
Listen,
I
We're
apologize.
introducing the panel. We can't keep banting with you and introduce the panel. And there's a lot going on here. We got an hour. We got to really focus. Just focus. All right? We don't want to talk over. I love Mike Cronin. He's a good kid. I got to get rid of him, though. If you know any good sidekicks, let me know. We got the very funny Larisa Entin, first responder. She's a nurse, very talented. How you doing, Larisa?
I'm good. Good to see you all.
She's got that Russian accent that's killing from here to Chicago. Phenomenal. We got the very funny, lovable guy. He's lost 500 pounds. Jay Burns. Jay has lost me. You lost 300, right, Jay?
I've gained a little bit back, but about, yeah.
You lost about 3. So you lost me. Can you just look at me? Jay has lost me. You lost to John Perrotta. Some people go on a diet, they lose 10 pounds. Jay went on a diet and said, I'm going to lose John Perrotta.
Awesome.
Well, it's so we can go back to Wright's Farm and start from the fresh.
How did you lose 300 pounds, Jay? Did you just kind of start doing coke from here to Montana? How did you do it?
Between the Coke and the tapeworm, it has been easy going the whole time.
The tapeworm. Or is it Brian Vincent feeding you scotch and water all day?
Exactly.
That'll do. Cronin, you can talk now. You have anything you want to say? You're in timeout. I'm letting you out of timeout early in the show. I'm going to give you a shot to try to get this right.
I was putting time out. I was going to ask Allison, would that be an appropriate book for me to purchase for my 8-year-old granddaughter? And then you just said it's about online dating. I said, I guess that's not going to be appropriate.
You might want to purchase my second book, which is called The Adventures of Gizmo. It's all about a cute little dog, much like this one. Same breed,
wow.
just like my Scarlet, but he was Gizmo. And he was so freaking awesome. People would kidnap this animal constantly. So The Adventures of Gizmo, I highly recommend for your 8-year-old.
All right. You got that, Mike?
Yep.
So buy the Cupid book for you so you can get on that bike and start going on dates. Can a girl fit on the back of the bike? Like if you were dating a girl, pick up a nice girl like Larisa, could you put her on the back of the bike?
The only thing, you would have to find a girl that would be just completely out of her tree that would welcome me on a date. I don't think that's going to happen. I haven't dated since Woodstock.
Let me tell you, Mike, I know a lot of guys in this state. If somebody said to me, who's a catch? If I had a sister, Mike Cronin is a catch. You know what I mean? You got a nice pad in North Providence. You got a bike. You ride up a hill every day. You eat tremendous. You send me pictures of all what you eat. You're tremendous. My doctor told me to stay away from you.
Right, exactly.
Who's the guy? I showed him all the pictures you sent me, my diet doctor. He says, that guy is no friend of yours. Stay away from him. But I told him, I love you, Mike. I love you.
That's right. That's true.
But you torture me. You torture me.
The hot wants with the hot wants. Today, Johnny, you would have loved to be with me today. I was with my dear friend Tom Tofano, who is an elder at Sacred Exchange Church. He invited me over to his house. We sat out on his deck. He made me garden fresh eggplant. He made the sauce from tomatoes that were picked today. He went to Venda. He bought homemade ravioli. Unbelievable. Now I think we're done. He goes, you like dessert? I said, I love dessert. He goes, come on, we're jumping in the truck. Where we going? Takes me down to Ron's Gourmet Pastry, where when I walked through the door, whose portrait is on the wall but President Trump, drawn by our good friend Steve DiNuccio.
No politics. I got no comment.
I called up Steven. So from there, I bought, and I have it right over here. It's on the bag on my kitchen table. I bought a eggplant calzone, a meatball calzone, and a lemon square, which I already ate the lemon square.
Mike,
why are we not filming this at your place?
Why is it what, Allison?
Why are we not filming this at your place?
You know, I know we could be getting into some good food, but see, here's the thing. Johnny stays on location. John does not come out and do, say, like man on the street type shoots. John's gonna stay in the studio at his residence, which is located somewhere off the coast of the Bahamas. And plus, if we filmed here and we had all this food, he would fire us all. We'd never be on a show again.
But Mike, why is it every time I talk to you, someone invited there was other woman on that Sunday invited you and made a whole feast?
Oh,
what do they look at you and they want to cook for you? What do you?
You know, I have God has blessed me with great friends throughout my life, such as you and Jay and Allison and Larisa and I are getting close. We're becoming great friends also.
But I've never cooked for you.
No, you haven't. You haven't. But you know, we could.
And I don't intend to cook for you.
No, but
you can't cook.
I can't cook.
You did turn me on to Riccati's Sub Shop tuna grinder last week, which was absolutely fabulous.
I told him, Jay, Riccati's tuna grinder is out of this world. He didn't believe it. He went there once, didn't have a good experience. I went and bought the tuna grinder. I brought it over, and now he likes Riccati's. He said he'll go back. So that should be our sponsor, Riccati's.
At Riccati's, I'm a big fan of the turkey sub, but with the hot pepper relish.
With the pepper relish.
The idea, Jay. I got a question for you, Johnny. Sauce or gravy?
As long as they're on meatballs, I don't give a shit. You can put sauce, you can put gravy,
Good answer.
20 meatballs in, and I'll eat the whole pan. I've been through this before with Mike Pettit on his show. He said, sauce or gravy, I don't care. Just put it on the meatballs and I'll eat it.
As long as it's red.
Larissa, you make a mean meatball?
Absolutely.
Larissa used to cook in an Italian restaurant. What was the name of it?
Guido's.
Guido's.
Hope Street in Providence.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, was that before you became a nurse?
Absolutely, yes. I was 19, my first job at the Italian restaurant.
So you must have been the only Russian Italian cook in the state.
Yeah, I think so, but pretty much Italian mama in my heart. You know, people need to eat in my house. Everybody needs to eat. I love to cook.
I hear you, Larissa.
I'll
be over Sunday after church.
Can't wait to see you. Yeah, come over. It's Rosh Hashanah, so would love to have you over.
Goodbye.
I'm brushing my Russian. Вы не понимаешь по-русски?
Oh my goodness, now you speak in Russian too. You're like multi-talented.
По-английски.
Allison has it going on here.
I can't speak Russian. I can't speak Russian.
I can barely speak the English language, let alone Russian.
If I had followed my dream to be a spy for the man with the FBI, I never would have met you guys. So I guess it's a good thing. But I am working with the Russians.
You are working with the Russians.
You want Russian guide? Get your catalog. You not pay, I hunt you down like dog.
You doing what, Allison?
A Russian
to do
accent.
the
Was it
impression.
impressive? Was it impressive at all? Just any Russian chick. You know, Russian spy.
Allison, we need to hook you up with Nick Albanese. Do you know our friend Nick?
He's married.
I don't mean hook up in that way. I mean hook up in the arts.
Of course
Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
know.
this is unacceptable.
Uh,
Our sponsor, Tonka Drugs, is going to pull the sponsorship. He's always looking for talented people to write stuff with, and I see you could be a good fit.
He's never asked me. He knows I write. I did an article on him for Motif magazine.
Did you?
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna he just sent me a text before this because he and I are gonna be filming behind the scenes with The Last Sicilian. He said, you wanna shoot the first one tonight? And I said, I'm going out with Johnny P. I can't, but when I talk to him, I'm gonna say, dude, do you know Allison is very talented? See if we can't get you into some projects there with The Last Sicilian.
And we'll get Larisa in. We'll have her being a Russian hit woman.
I'm telling you, that would be so cool. That show we had last night.
Make him a dish of bolognese, and then you shoot him in the
Yes.
back.
I can do it all.
Absolutely.
And at the same time.
Right.
At the
right.
same time. Hey, I gotta tell you guys, I told you a little before the year, I had some, cleaning out the garage, cleaning out the basement. I found some VHS tapes from when I started comedy in 91, 92 at Periwinkle's Comedy Club, The Great Imposter, Shakespeare's and Warren, different places. And I kind of flipped through today. I saw there were different comedians on. Rockin' Joe was on one of them, P.K. Smith, Steve Shorts, different comedians. I had some different sets on. Some were good, some were god-awful. When I started, 91, 92. There was some I was, wow, that was pretty good. And then the other ones, I was like fast forward and it was so painful. If you see a set, Allison was on stage with me, but I got to look again. I couldn't find you. I thought you'd be in there, but I couldn't find your set.
Probably cut it out because you were hitting on me.
I didn't hit it. All I did, we were on stage together in 91, and I looked over and it was like, wow, Alison O'Donnell. I didn't know you. And we introduced each other. Your boyfriend was out in the crowd, kind of pissed. Nothing happened. I mean, I was married. You were with him, and you're like my baby sister now. So
Allison played it right. Allison became a good friend of all of us right from jump. And we respected that, and no one made a run at it. Because Allison became, if
somebody made a run at it, but we don't know who.
Someone did, but in our traveling circle of going from room to room, Allison became like one of the guys right away. And
I gotta say one thing, 29 years of comedy, I don't recall ever hitting on a female comic. I'm proud of that. I've hit on Jay Burns several times, Brian Vincent, but I've never hit on a female comic in 29 years.
John, not even like secretly deep down in your heart, no?
Of course, there was some I felt something for, but the audience members, I did about half of them. The audience members I went after. The comedians, I said, I get a bad rep. I'll just go after the audience. Nobody will know nothing.
Boy.
It's a bad idea every time. Never do it.
Nah, I'm only kidding, man. I'm only kidding. I got a trouble here or there, but I'm all right. Allison wound up being my sister. Larissa's like my sister. Mike is like a long-lost stepbrother. Jay is like my diet partner. Every time I look at you, Jay, I think of veal parm.
Veal parm now, and I want the meatball sub, and I want the turkey with relish. Jay, damn you, I have to go buy that tomorrow.
All right, come on down.
I'm so hungry now.
So what else is going on, kids? What can we talk about? We're on the Comedy Factory chat. What else? Anybody want to chime in? What do you got, Larisa?
So can I ask Alison about the book, the dating book? Is it like all from about personal experience?
Yes, it is 100 really awful, I can't make this crap up, dates that I have been on. So you get the funny story, and then each story is followed by some practical advice, so you don't have to suffer as I did. But
wow, that's pretty cool.
It's crazy.
How many dates did it take you?
Well, there are 100 in the book, but I've been
Uh-huh.
doing this since I was like 19, and I won't tell you how old I am now, but it's been a while.
Now,
Yeah.
Alex, let me ask you this. Much like Alanis Morissette, who has never let us know who the song You Ought to Know is about, do these men that you dated, these stories, do they know who they are, or do you just leave that completely? I'm not going to say who they are.
I suppose if they read the book, and I will tell you, not one of these guys has called and said, "Hey, you put me in the book." That's never happened. But I did change their names just, for libel. I don't want to get sued or anything. But yeah, they could figure out who they are.
Are you dating anyone now, Allison?
I am not.
You're not. See, like you girls are beautiful. You gotta find I recommend finding a guy with a lot of money. Number one, you know what I mean? If I had to do it again, you're gonna go for the cash.
So that
The
leads
So
us
I
he-
mean,
to
love is nice.
the-
Love is nice, but you want a guy with some cash.
good ones are taken or gay, John. You know that. The single guys out there are single for a reason, and it is not pretty out there. It is not. And you know the games. They all play
Yeah.
games. I just talked to a guy the other night. We were on the phone for 3 hours, and he had his own construction company, so I don't know how much money he was worth, but we'll say he's financially stable, right? And I'm thinking things are going really well. The next morning, I get a text saying, I'm really busy. It wouldn't be fair to you to start something up. What? I got my hopes up. Things were going so well. What happens in the mind of a man where he goes to sleep and wakes up and erases all these good things?
If I talk to you for 3 hours, I mean, come on, that's a heck of a commitment for me to talk to a girl 3 hours.
A connection.
Yeah, in 3 hours, I would expect to go to eat with you, sleep with you, have a couple of drinks, have coffee to say goodnight. I mean, 3
And do
hours is a long
that.
time.
Okay, Alison, I'm a dating expert. You can ask me any question. Have you ever thought about maybe you should date like a man? Maybe you should have the total
Thinking I
mindset.
date a woman. Women.
No, forget about it. No. And at the end, you're the one who will be saying, I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch.
Yeah, I get that one a
Yeah.
lot. I'll call you.
Yeah. No, I'll call you.
And
I have a good
Mike,
friend of
Mike,
mine.
are you dating anybody, Mike?
No.
And Jay Burns, you dating anybody?
I am, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
Jay.
Nice girl.
Jay's taken.
Very nice, yeah. It's
Where did you meet her, Jay?
well, I also I used to host trivia, and I actually met her at one of my trivia shows.
Oh,
Alison-
Wow. This is kind of kept under the wraps. How long you been with
Nice.
her,
So
Jay?
what-
I didn't know nothing. You're like my brother. I don't even know nothing about this. You haven't even brought me to bless this relationship. I mean, I am the godfather. I
Because we
should be
will
able to
know the
bless it.
answers.
she's watched the Zoom show before, so she's experienced.
Everybody say hi. Hi. What's her name?
You can't remember. Come on.
Come on,
it's-
Jay.
it's
You
not
can't,
that-
dude, you can't hesitate there. Come on, Jay.
It's not that I don't remember. It's that there's other issues involved. So
Oh, she's married and has 3
Is
kids.
he married?
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go.
We'll leave that out, Jay. That's okay.
Okay.
Nothing
No,
wrong with
that's
going
the
with a
life
nice
story.
married girl.
Oh, mercy.
She drives a Honda.
Okay, Jay, question for you. When you met that lovely lady, did she play trivia?
She did, yeah.
And did she know the answers or she did not? What did you like about the lady?
Oh, she's incredibly intelligent. She did a very good job.
Okay, so you went after the brains.
Oh no, she's hot too. So like I get the best of both worlds.
Wow, she's hot. Does she got a
Wow.
sister? Does she got a sister for Cronin?
I don't.
Jay
All
knows
she's
better.
got to do to go with Mike is she's got to be able to cook garden fresh tomatoes into sauce the same day and bring them for pastry. He'll
if,
go
if
with
that's the criteria, that she's out. She's out right there.
she's got to cook
She's out.
for him.
Can't be perfect.
She
That's
can
right.
she barely is able to cook a Chef Boyardee.
I have not had a serious girlfriend. I'm 62, boys and girls viewing at home. I have not had a serious girlfriend since I was 48 years old.
Wow, it was that traumatic. It was that traumatic that you left her and
You know what happens with me is I love hot, you know, so these girls, I got my heart ripped out a couple of times. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to, I just stay in my safe place.
Well, you know, in my
I think
experience,
we can fix it, Mike.
You got Russian blood coming for you.
Right, right.
I think it's a lot easier for the men because it's so many lovely women out there. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe because I work with.
To be very honest with you, I don't necessarily. Yes. I think it's kind of, it's 6 1 half dozen of another. I mean, it's easier. It's easier because, in all honesty, a man will fall in love with a woman like there's no tomorrow. But just with Alison, it's, you know, unless the end game is there, you know what I mean? It can be turned off really quick. But then on the other side, it's also easier for a woman has, you know, pick of the litter, but a man also is like, you know, if he really is interested in somebody, you know, I really feel like, you know, it's going to happen. But see, I'm very much of the mindset, and this is what I was going to say to Mike, like, unless you are happy with yourself, unless you can be happy alone, you're never going to be happy with somebody else. And so
I am happy alone. My dear friend, Pastor Mike Caparelli, says to me quite often, he says, dude, it amazes me how content you are at just doing you. And I am. I really am. In my stage act, I do an extended bit. It's probably one of the longer bits that I do. If I'm doing like 45 to an hour, I spend about 15, 17 minutes on it. I talk about dating. I talk about marriage, dating, getting to know a person. And I'm convinced that the reason why that bit gets the laughs that it gets is because these people sitting there, they're saying to themselves, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy knows what he is talking about. And I get serious during that bit too. I wrap that bit up talking about my mom and dad. I tell them, I say, look, you know what, boys and girls, we had a great time tonight. We laughed. I recount the whole set, and I get to the relationship, and I said, but I want you to know I do know what love looks like, because for 51 years I had a front row seat to my mom and dad's marriage, and they kept all their vows. They stood before God, family, and friends, and they kept all their vows. And the last vow they kept broke my heart. To death do us part. It's you know, a lot of people maybe wouldn't close on a bit like that. You know, I get emotional talking about it sometimes when I'm up there on stage. But again, to circle back, the reason why that gets the laughs it gets is because I'm speaking absolute, raw, honest truth. I have a good friend of mine. I'm not going to mention his name. He owns a very successful cigar bar up in Massachusetts. Johnny P knows him. I hired him to do his 50th birthday party, and he's a great guy. He's a dear friend. He's a wealthy man, and he would get all excited. He'd call me up. He'd like, dude, I've got this girl I'm going out with. We're gonna go here, there, everywhere. Date after date after date after date, canceling him. And I told him, when are you gonna wake up and realize that's not them in the online picture? The thrill for them is the conversation. You're calling them, you're exchanging texts and emails and conversations. That's it for them. They're not going to roll themselves out to Lobster Garden, or if that's the name of a place, because that's not them. They're catfishing you. Their whole enjoyment is the thrill of the chase. So now they've got you hooked. They're done. Right now, they're talking to somebody else. That's their date.
Mike,
we do it all the time.
What about me? Since I was 14 years old, 48 years later, I don't think I've gone through more than a week without being attached to a girl. One goes, another one comes. One goes, two come, three leave, four come, one goes. I'm always attached. My whole life. I can never get, like you got peace, you're by yourself. I can never get that. There's one leaves, I swear to God, another one comes. I don't know what it is. I'm a big magnet.
I have a lot of guy friends that are like that. I have guy friends who've gotten divorced and within a short period of time they're remarried again, and they've been married for years. Myself personally, I can say myself personally, when I meet a girl and everything is there, I can check off all the boxes, I fall hard, really hard. And if it doesn't work and she breaks up with me, I'm done. I am curled up in the fetal position. I am hurt and I'm hurting bad. And it takes me a long time to recover from that. So what I decided years ago is, you know what, man? I love female companionship, but I'd rather stay just being friends, just hanging out, having a good time. I love the scent of a woman. I've even said that out loud in the hallways of my condo complex here. You come in, before you put the key in the door, you can smell a beautiful perfume. You know a woman has been by. I've said out loud, the scent of a woman. I love it all, man. But what I don't love is if it doesn't work out and they break up and that's it. And I know that I'm heavy lifting too. I'm heavy lifting. I can be very self-centered. Sometimes my comedic muscle will get me in trouble. And so that's why I decide to stay where I am, which I call to be that safe place. Now, that's not to say that God's not going to put a woman in my life and blow my hair back without hair product. You know, that could very well happen. My daughter-in-law is always on me. You need a girlfriend. You need to settle down. My dad, before he went home to Jesus, was telling me, you got to get a girlfriend and settle down. I'm like, dude, really? You too? Come on now. What is it with you people?
I've settled down 17 times.
And you've got a great woman.
Oh.
God blessed you with Terry. You've got the best of the best.
Oh, yes. They've all been great, Mike. I can't, my first wife, very nice girl. She had a problem with some issues that I like to do. So she said I gamble too much. Matter of fact, we were in a divorce court. She sat down. I'll never forget it. She said, Your Honor, he's a drunk, he's a gambler, and he's a womanizer. Honest to God, I got on the stand. The judge leaned over. Hey, can you get me 500 on Clemens and the Red Sox? I said, Your Honor, I'll have to bet him by 2 o'clock.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
I've had issues with every woman I've ever been with. At the beginning, it's like the days of, it's just beautiful. Everything's beautiful. And by the end, it's trouble. You guys like that too?
That's the risk. You go.
Alison, Larisa, you guys like that, Jay?
Well, you call me your sister, so hey.
Well, I mean, if your relationships all start out great and at the end it's trouble.
Well, you know, I always say I don't break hearts, I collect souls.
You collect souls?
Oh, boy. Oh, wow.
And, you know, I think in order, before you start dating somebody else, oh, Jay, is he falling down now? So
No,
I think before you, oh, hello, is your girlfriend down? Is she on the floor? I think before you're ready to start seeing somebody or dating somebody, you really need to experience time alone, get to know yourself, date yourself.
I've been trying to do that for 48 years.
Good for you.
I haven't had
Keep
any
doing
time. I swear to God, one goes out one door, one comes in another door. I don't know how they find me. They find me. They just find
Close
me.
the windows, John. Turn the lights off.
Put an alarm on, close the windows, don't let anybody in.
And as you know, I write a lot, and it's always about dating and the relationship. And I remember dating somebody who it was actually PhD in psychology. And you know what he said to me? If you're going to write about me, I will sue you. I said, go for it. And that was done. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's how insecure he is, or was. I don't know what's going on now. But yes.
I think today,
That's
Larisa
crazy.
and Alison, I'd love to get your take on this. I think
Please.
Today, where we live today, in the world that we live in today, we are a point, click, and get it now world. And I feel, and this is my humble opinion, boys and girls listening at home, that if something goes wrong, if there's a wrinkle in the linen, right away, people say, you know what? I can swap him out or her out. I'm done with this. Do you girls think that that's the case, that we give up too soon on relationships? We're moving on instead of working through?
I'll go a step further than that. Never mind give up on relationships. Relationships are hard. People don't want to start them. I find this with a lot of men. They want convenience. They want easy. A woman who's just going to be, you're available this Tuesday, I'm not doing anything Tuesday, and you get the call on Tuesday. Are you doing anything tonight? And that's all it is. The commitment doesn't go any further than that. But if you do, and this goes back to whatever you were saying earlier about, it's always good in the beginning and then it kind of crashes. Relationships go in cycles. And I say this in the book. You go on a date. If you make it to a second date, chances are you're going to make it to a third. And you're going to fill the honeymoon period. That's the first 3 months. And everything goes really well. At that 3-month mark, the true colors start to show. If you make it past the 3-month mark, then chances are good you're going to last for a while. Then it's the 2-year mark. When you get to 2 years, things start to get a little stale, and it's like, oh, she's looking hot or he's looking hot, and you start to spread a little bit. So, you've got to do this tug of war, keeping each other there if there's something worth holding on to.
Mm-hmm. I have a line in that bit that I do, Alison. I talk about how things are moving along. Things are great. We got that nice tickle the belly. Everything's cozy. And all of a sudden now she's calling me at 9 o'clock in the morning. Now I got to come up with some cockamamie story that I just came back in from a 5-mile jog when in all actuality, my feet haven't touched the floor yet. Because as we're getting to know one another, that's when you say to yourself, when do you let them know this is who I am?
3 months.
When can you fart on a date? Is it okay to pick your nose? When are you able to say this is who I am?
So I'll say this to Mike. So 2 things. One, I'll say I agree. We're in a very point and click society, I guess you could say. The thing is, though, we forget that every relationship is a failed relationship until we have no more failed relationships. It's gonna fail until it never fails again. And we always forget that. And the other thing is, for me, at least, and certainly, with this relationship I'm in, and we're almost at a year now, I'm very much, every relationship I've been in for the last 5 to 10, I'd say, about 8 years now, since I turned 30. I have been entirely upfront about every awful thing in my life, all my mental illness, all my, everything about me. I'm right up front day one. And because it's the same thing. I have zero desire to be with somebody. I don't like the honeymoon period. I hate that 3-month where it's fake, and I don't care about that. I would if you're crazy, that's fine. Let me know what the crazy is. Maybe our crazy works together. We fit right next to each other, and it works out great. The more you hide and the more you use subterfuge to get this, the worse it is. It's never going to work out if all you do is, if you have that lying, for lack of a better term, honeymoon period. And for me, what's that?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You're on a roll. I was going to say, that's when you raid the cabinet in the beginning. I'm going to open up your medicine cabinet. What am I dealing with here? Okay, I can handle this.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you know what? I get, we're all, every single human being. I have not met a human being yet in my entire.
Where did Jay go?
Show us your hands, Mike.
I think Jay just went out on a date with his girlfriend.
In the middle.
All excited.
Jay, where are you?
I think he's Italian. I think he's Italian. He was talking with his hands and batted something.
Yeah, he might have just got hit right on the air. Could be a Russian hit. Larisa sent somebody over there to bump him off.
We've lost a guest like a half hour in.
Let's talk about him before he gets back.
Let's talk about right, exactly, Alison. Let's talk about him.
I tell every girl I ever went with, I either tell them or they know within a day that I'm crazy. I put it right on the table. I'm nuts. They see my act and they know this guy's crazy. But I'm a fun crazy. I like to think I'm a fun crazy.
And the other thing I can tell you too, and Larisa and Alison, you can speak truth to this. I'm 62 now, but back in my younger days, and you, Johnny, and Alison both remember me when my hair was as long as Alison's, and I had my hair long for a long, long time. And I firmly believe that when you have the long hair, that rock and roll look that I had, you attract a completely different girl than when you cut your hair. Because I can remember, John, I had a conversation with you after I cut my hair, and you were convinced you cannot do the bad boy comedy act anymore. I'm like, why? You're like, you don't have your long hair anymore. You can't do that act. And I can remember when I cut my hair, those girls that were eager to meet me and talk to me when I had the long hair, they were non-existent. Now it was a whole different class of girls that had come into the classroom that were interested in meeting a guy that had short hair, that maybe wore khaki pants and a polo shirt with a collar popped and a preppy look, or a suit. Do you girls agree with me?
100%. Alison, I think appearance is extremely important. It's how you present yourself. Absolutely.
I don't see it as a bad thing though, Mikey. I mean, when you were younger with the rock and roll hair, the rest of us were too. And now you're older, more mature, and you're rocking the white crew. And there's a certain kind of woman that likes that. I think white hair is sexy. I might not have said that 20 years ago, but where I'm at now, I would be looking at you more than the long ginger thing.
Right, right.
And I think
Mike, you pick her up on the bike.
If I knew then what I know now with the rockin' body back then, boy, would I be the total package.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I have said this. I think that all men should grow their hair super long at one point of their life and wear it that way for a while. I like long hair. I really, really do. I had it long a while back ago. I had my hair, when I had Meatball Comedy Stop Productions, I had grown it long again. And I was what? I was like, I think I cut it when I was like 55.
I had long hair too back when I graduated high school.
Me too.
Then I went in the Navy and I'll never forget it. They buzzed it all off. Man. I was like,
now,
wow.
Johnny P, you are a handsome dude, so I can only begin to imagine when you were rocking that long hair, girls must have been beating a path to your door.
I always had a girlfriend from when I was 14. I had one girlfriend, Cindy Rosito. I was over her house. Her mother was there, nice lady, God rest her soul. And I'm over there hanging out, but the father didn't want her to date any girls. The father comes home from work early. The mother and Cindy look at me. The father's pulling in the driveway. You're going to jump out the window. So I'm 14 years old, jumping out windows. I'm already in trouble.
Mikey, you know what he's not telling you? We're
What?
from Silver Lake. He'd walk up to a girl and say, "You're my girlfriend, come with me." And so
Right.
the day might be a different girl, or a week, or a year. So when
Jay Birds is back.
my girlfriend,
Right,
think
because
that
the
with
thing
greatness.
that I've learned about Johnny Allison is John has always had game when it comes to the ladies. He has always had game. He is Rico Suave times 10.
I am an old, I'm in the twilight of my career now, Mike. I had game back in the day. Now I got a belly and an appetite.
You still got game, John.
Oh,
He's got
Mike.
game.
Like,
Larissa, I got game, Larissa.
John, don't doubt yourself. I know you well.
Look at him. He's got
Don't make
he's
me
a beautiful smile.
Larissa's only
John
known me a few
Perrotta
months. She says I got
has
game.
You're at the beginning of your game, John.
At the beginning.
The beginning.
Let's not forget, boys and girls. This is the father of the dating Casanova. So let's not forget that.
My son did write a book. For those who don't know, Conversation Casanova became a
Conversation
bestseller
Casanova.
on how to date. He's done really well, and that's what he does. He sells products with it. He's doing phenomenal.
and there's
Jay.
me begging friends, "Could you buy my book, please, please?" I'm just trying to pay the publisher back what I invested.
Well, we got to have Allison's book sponsor the show the next time she's in, so we can sell some copies.
Sponsored myself.
Jay,
Hey, Mike-
we thought you got hit by a Russian hit. What happened?
Yeah. No, I'm at a different place, so my internet connection wasn't great, but I just fixed everything, so we're good
Besides,
now.
all of a sudden you were there in a conversation and you disappeared. We thought you were
Yeah,
gonna.
you
I was
were on a
new-
roll. The viewers at home, they started calling in. The switchboard lit up like a Christmas tree.
I know, Larry
So
King is all
talented.
angry at me.
So you were telling us about the relationship, how honest you are at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much I like to know warts and all what's wrong, because you never know. Like, and the person I'm with the girl I'm with right now, like, in all honesty, like I said, I've never met a human being that isn't somewhat crazy. We're all insane in our own different ways. We all have something wrong with us in some way, shape, or form. There's not a single.
I will attest to that.
And there's not a single perfect one of us. So for us to think we're going to have a perfect anything is ridiculous. So if I know what your imperfections are, and those imperfections are just fine with my imperfections, well, then look at that. We just, we're already in step 2, and we didn't even have to worry about it. To me, it's a silly thing. I'm also like that just in life. There's no reason for any type of, I hate to say it in this way, but if I don't like you, I'm not going to like, oh, you're fantastic, you're great. No, I'm certainly not going to be mean or rude about it, but I mean, look, I've seen
my
plenty
life.
of babies. I've seen plenty of babies in the middle of the street and just went, oh, look, it's a baby. It's not cute, it's just a baby. The babies out there.
The dingo ate your baby.
I was a cute baby.
I bet you look like Winston Churchill as a baby.
I don't know what I looked like.
John was hitting at the women when he was a baby.
We got a special guest coming in from New York City. My good friend Stacy Kendro is making an appearance on a comedy chat. She's awesome. Here she comes. Stacy.
Hey, how's it going?
We got Larisa, we got Jay Burns,
Hey,
Alison
Larisa.
O'Donnell, and Mike
Hi,
Cronin.
honey.
Hey guys,
Hi, Stacy.
How are you, Stacy?
how's it going? Sorry, I'm like Zoom bombing your.
You're a surprise guest that's popping in from New York City. What's going on, Stace?
I was just coming from work. It's not very exciting. I was coming from work, and that's all. It's nice to see you guys. Nice to see smiling faces.
We've been talking about dating tonight. Everybody's been talking about their stories with dating.
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm sorry that I logged on late. I wish I heard some of the story. What was the best? Give me a sum up. Whose was the best story?
Everybody's talking about different issues, man.
John has been hitting on women since the cradle.
Right, exactly.
So here's a story about John when we were together at Periwinkle's. I said, you look so familiar, because we were from Silver Lake together, but we hadn't made the connection yet. And he goes, yeah, you look really familiar too. And he's kind of chumming up. And my boyfriend's in the background going, oh, come on, can't you see he's hitting on you?
I wasn't hitting on you, Allison.
Totally hitting on you.
Do you think I was hitting on you?
Well, you kind of had that Rico Suave thing going on. You were rubbing shoulders with me. Yeah, you look familiar too. I could go in.
The only one on the panel I haven't hit on is Cronin, Jay Burns. Stacy's
That's not
my
Cronin.
sister from way back, right? I know I didn't hit on Larisa. I'm a gentleman.
Yes.
You are a
That's
gentleman.
right.
Every time you've hit on me, you've always offered to take me to Wright's Farm first. 100%.
Stacy, is your mom in the house tonight?
She went talking about dating. She hits on my friends. I'm like, Mom, you're like friggin' 70. I'm like, will you just leave? She's hitting on my friend Rich Carucci. I go, will you leave him alone? He's got 3 ex-wives. I go, he has enough problems.
So,
How's your
Stacy,
brother? How's your brother Rocco doing?
Yeah, they were all around last night driving me crazy. Now I got to edit what they were saying.
But is he single?
Stacy's brother has the biggest crush on me.
Okay.
He does love you. He does love you.
He's way too young for me.
Larisa.
He thinks he's Albanian mafia. He's like out of his mind. I don't know if you really want to I mean, you could go out with him. You seem really nice though, but I don't know if you want his drama. You know what I mean?
No, he wanted to come to Providence last time. Remember?
You like
Yes.
Mafia. Mafia is good. It's good.
So
Any
Stacy,
shows
how-
in New York City, Stace? Any shows?
I just did the stripper club again on Saturday.
Stripper club.
Yeah, outside. It was actually really good. It was
Money.
it was the audience was really good. No, you know what? No pancake asses went by while I was doing my set either. Yeah, you ever see like a giant, some girls shouldn't wear a G-string, you know what I'm saying? And like we're doing our sets and like the girls are getting ready to do the strip. It is a strip club, so they come after the comedy. Anyway, I had a great set, so
That's crazy. You had a great set at a strip club. That's crazy. I did comedy with Dave DiLorenzo and Eddie Galvin. We did it was the Satin Doll Strip Club in Providence, and Dave was a DJ there, and he set up a thing where we did comedy, and then the strippers went on after. It was kind of nutty. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I used to do this thing in Vegas. It was at Planet Hollywood, and they had burlesque and stand-up, and I'm telling you, it was fucking great.
Well, I mean, that's how my business partner and I, that's what we started doing. Our whole sort of business model was old burlesque, which was comedy and burlesque dancing together. I mean, it worked back in 1942. I mean,
You had some great shows there. You had some great shows with that too.
some amazing shows. Yeah, I mean, and I can't wait to get back to it. I've been wanting to do another burlesque show again soon because it's so much fun, and there's so many talented performers in Boston, Providence, in this area that I've gotten to meet, that I've become friends with, and they're fantastic people. And it's just, I feel bad because, at least comedians, we can kind of do these Zoom shows, we can do these outdoor shows. These burlesque performers have nothing going on. I mean, there's some Zoom shows going on, but I mean, they depend on tips, and it's so difficult when you're not in person. You just don't have the same energy, and it's just not flowing as well like it normally is. So I mean,
yeah, it's tough times. Tough times.
Well, it's tough for both. I mean, the burlesque artists that I know, they're not working, but we're not working either. It's sort of the same.
Yeah.
They told me to stop when they saw my pancake ass. So, big pancake.
I'm sure your ass doesn't look like a pancake. You look very nice. I'm sure Rocco would like you too if you showed up.
So now Alison has always been dubbed my baby sister. Stacy's been dubbed my baby sister. Larisa, I haven't figured out what to tag her as, a step sister, baby sister. I'm not sure yet. Cronin's like a long lost soul. I try to help him the best I can. Just sends me pictures of food. He needs therapy.
How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing very good, Stacy. What I do is John has called me out on the carpet on many a Zoom show, insinuating to the boys and girls at home that I can't cook. So I teach him that I can. The other night, 10 minutes of 1 in the morning, I'm hungry. I'm binge watching Modern Family. I get up, I make myself some bacon and eggs. Bang! I send it right to Johnny P. And then to follow that up, when I take my blood glucose level, I didn't even say that right, kids, because it's hard to say. Don't even try to say it 10 times. You're going to an epileptic seizure. I take him pictures of my blood glucose level. I send him all these kind of pictures so that he's motivated during the day and doesn't have to worry, knows that, I'm eating well.
Listen, Larissa's the nurse. You should be sending your glucose level to her, your sugar level, not me.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a type 2 diabetic. I'm taking my own level. Why do I want to see yours? I got my own problems.
114 yesterday, boys and girls. 114 yesterday.
My A1C is 5.3. Top that.
That's phenomenal, dude. That's excellent.
And I'm the
That's
English
excellent.
teacher. Can you two repeat after me? Glue.
Glue.
Ooh, close.
Oh,
I can't
close.
say it.
It's close, not close.
Glue. Everybody, glue.
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 Cose.
Close.
Glucose. Glucose.
So I get tied up because I'm trying to say glue close.
Right.
I just call it my sugar.
Close
My
to your
sugar
heart.
level.
Yeah,
I call it my
glucose is
sugar
closely
level.
related to Glenn Close.
I was just gonna say that. Glenn
There you
Close
go.
is an actress.
I butcher the English language as it is. So
Yeah, we've seen your act.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, it takes me 20 minutes to say hello. I go off on tangents. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just end up going and babbling away. But to your answer to your question, Stacy, is yes, I'm doing well. Thank you for being concerned and asking about me. It shows me that you care.
Oh.
I can't wait till we all do a show together.
Yeah, I can't wait. Oh my God, this year is I don't have one show booked the rest of the year. That's like crazy.
Well, I think we did have one.
Well, I had you September 4th somewhere, and then 10 of the employees tested positive for COVID, so that got canceled. And yeah,
it's like we could have brought waitresses. Shit, I'll sling your food up. Damn.
You tell jokes and bring them their drinks and food.
Why
not? Stacy. Crazy. What's going on in New York City, man? Anything? We're over here in little Rhode Island. What's going on in New York?
Well, I guess they're doing some rooftop shows in a part of Brooklyn called Bushwick. It's like where a lot of artists are. There's a lot of like spray paint and, murals and shit. Anyway, so they're sort of doing they banned stand-up comedy in New York, which is so stupid. So anyway, so they're doing like underground shows, but they're doing them on rooftops because it's outside. So you have to sort of know. I don't know how people are like spreading the word. I guess on Facebook probably. And I might run one myself.
So comedy is banned in New York City.
Not crazy.
Now, are these shows, Stacy, these rooftop shows, take me back to like when the Beatles did that rooftop concert. If you're found out, will you be fined or arrested or both?
Well, like New York Comedy Club is still doing shows. Like in Central Park's really big. It's like really fucking big. It's way bigger than you think it is. It's like if you look in the field, you can't see even the street. Like it's really big. So people are like getting away with it, but like, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably. I mean, I don't know why they're banning it because they're trying to get people to not congregate, but like people can socially distance and eat on the fucking sidewalk and get hit by a car. We should be able to fucking watch stand-up comedy.
I know the restaurants are only at 25%, and the restaurants are having a problem with that. The governor, they only want them to have 25% capacity in the restaurants in New York.
Well, everything was outdoor up until like today or yesterday, and now they're allowing indoor. But like outside, whatever, anything goes. I don't know what's going to happen, but they should let us tell jokes.
It's strange, like how everyone has such different. So my cousin, he's a colonel in the Air Force, and he's stationed in London right now. And London has this deal going on. If you go out to eat at a restaurant on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, you only pay 50% of your bill. The government pays the remaining 50% because they want people they want these restaurants to survive.
Wow.
Through all this, even though they're at 25% capacity and they're being socially distant and all this stuff, but they need them to survive, and so they're helping them out. And it's so funny to me, like that's such a beautiful idea. Why would we not try to do something to help restaurants out? Like
they're not doing it here. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. It's not right. The government should be doing a lot more for small businesses. I know, like in Rhode Island, I don't get into politics. Supposedly the governor's got like, I don't know how many millions of dollars. It's supposed to go to help small businesses and restaurants, and she's holding on to it. She won't let it go, like for whatever, maybe to fill a budget deficit, I don't know. But she's holding on to this money, and I know people in small businesses, I hear them on the radio, they're furious. They're furious. But I don't know. What are you going to say to that, Larisa?
No, just October 1st. It's when the new business year starts. So maybe she's waiting until October 1st to make that executive decision.
Maybe.
It's hurting, man. A lot of going down. I was reading today in the journal, the Birch is closing.
Hey, I couldn't believe the Venus de Milo. I heard this morning the Venus de Milo is up for sale in the grist mill, the old grist mill. The Venus de Milo, I did many parties there, shows, gigantic banquet rooms, closed. Grist mill closed. Evelyn's Villa used to be open. They're up. Last I saw, they're up for sale. Beautiful banquet rooms, great shows I did there.
Yep.
West Valley Inn did great shows there, closed. I mean, before the pandemic. So before the pandemic, not enough people get married, and the pandemic hits, and a lot of these places, the Venus de Milo going under. I mean, they're known for their soup and all their weddings, and
Right.
it's like a huge deal. A Venus de Milo going down.
These are iconic places. The Birch that's announced they're closing now. That's a James Beard nominated restaurant. That's like winning the Academy Award. That's a big to do, and they're going down. 1149 on Division Street. Been there for years. That's a nice, swanky, upscale place. Always did a good business. They're going down. The Greenville Inn. For years and years and years.
The Greenville Inn went down?
Went down, closed.
The one on Jefferson Boulevard?
No. The one.
The one on Centerdale.
Not Centerdale. You're coming
44.
like out on 44, right? Heading back into like Johnson. That closed. Matter of fact, I stopped in there one day, Johnny, just as a riding by. I saw it. I'm gonna stop in. So I stop in there. I get up bar side. I get a couple of beers. Get a chicken palm. Start talking to the guy, and this guy knew you. This guy was a young guy, young bartender. He was new in comedy. We had a good talk about comedy. I told him, I said, John's like one of my best friends. We shared quite a few stories, and I liked it. I went back there a couple of times. In the Providence Journal Bulletin a handful of months ago, they've decided to close their doors. They're not coming back.
See, this is going to hurt all of us in the comedy business, because as these places close, those are less and less venues where people are going to have parties or we can put shows on. As they narrow down, it's going to make it's tough for the comedy business to come back. I mean, really.
Danny Krinka, my dear friend Danny Krinka, who I turned you on to do his room, Nico Bella's, and you were going to do it downtown. He told me a couple of weeks ago, he called me and goes, Mikey, just come down. Just come down to Providence downtown just for giggles. The majority of it is boarded up. It's like barren. Now, he just remodeled that entire restaurant. He blew out the walls, put a whole new dining room in, whole new remodel, and he's closed. Because he said to me, he goes, Mike, I can't open. All the hotels are closed. They're all boarded up. There's nothing down here. So he's hanging on by his fingernails right now. And as are a lot of these businesses. They're just, so to the point of whoever said, the government's going to step up and fuse some money into these businesses, because these small businesses, they're going down. There's families behind these businesses. Just like Stacy's saying, Stacy's a full-time comic. This is how she makes her living. These venues being closed down have a trickle-down effect. It's like you drop a drop of water into a basin of water, you have the ripple effect. So now these venues are shutting down in New York, and now Stacy can't work, and Stacy's hilarious. So one of my questions to Stacy was going to be, and I'm going to ask it right now, Stacy, if it got to the point where you said, dude, you know what? I can't cut it in New York. I got to find a state that's open so I can go back to work. Would you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I am working part-time in an office thing, because I don't know what else to do. I got to make money. I got to pay rent.
Right. My point is, you can't be making the money you were making before.
I'm not making any money with comedy.
Right.
Nothing.
Exactly. So
crazy.
My question would be, if you said to yourself, you know what, man, I've been anchored here in New York for a while now. I'm a top headliner. I need to make some money. There's
nowhere to go. There's no city to go to. Like before, I would have said no pandemic, I would have said maybe Vegas, because there's so many clubs and so many revolving audience. But now Vegas is like, it's not a thing anymore, because people aren't traveling. I mean, it's sort of, I try not to think. I'm like in denial still about the whole thing. It's like, it's too much to take on. You know what I mean?
In 1918 Spanish flu, I read it took 4 years before people started coming out again, like really coming out.
What? No way.
1918. Well, that's 1918, but it's going to take at least another year, I think. I don't know. I think.
All right. So first things first. I mean, I will say, Mike, it is not that bleak in downtown Providence. I don't know.
I haven't been, Jay. So
okay.
Speak to that. Tell me.
I live on the east side. You
Okay.
know, I'm downtown a lot. It's not that bleak.
It's not that dire?
No, not at all. And especially with
ever?
I mean, when there was the protesters, people were putting boards up to protect their windows and whatnot. But I mean, the reality is, it's not a ghost town. It's by any stretch of the imagination. People
Okay,
are out,
good to know.
and I think, I mean, the other thing is now with the college kids coming back, even partially, it's revitalizing. Like I said, I live on the east side. It's a young area. There's a lot of small restaurants, a lot of small shops. And I drive down Fair Street, which is a really sort of the hip neighborhood, and which is full of shops and restaurants. And in the last couple of weekends, it's been packed. They're not as packed as it was. I'm certainly not going to lie. I mean, it's not nearly as bad, but there are people waiting outside to get burritos. I mean, it's not.
That's good to know.
And as far as the 4 years for the Spanish flu. I mean, the other thing is you have to think we're in a very different world than 1918. We're in a world of instant information. 1918, it took weeks for information to get from Rhode Island to California. It took weeks for information to get from Australia to the U.S. Now it happens in a matter of seconds. So the reality is, I mean, once we get a vaccine, once we have this, things are going to open up so fast, so quickly.
Right.
It's
The
truly
problem
not.
is, Jay, they get a vaccine, say January, February. It's going to take, they said, I've watched over and over, it's going to take months to get it out to everybody. So you're looking at the earliest next fall to start putting shows together.
That's what everybody's saying, a year. They're like, comedy's
at
not
least a
coming back
year.
for a year.
And it's already been 6 months. So you're looking at it a year and a half minimum before maybe we can do it. And it's probably not going to still be back to where it was. You know what I mean? It's busy. You know what I mean?
It's Cafe Depresso here.
Well, we covered a little bit of everything. We covered the dating scene. We covered the pandemic. You got to talk about this stuff. We got to get it out.
Yeah.
What I'd like to know, I'd like to know what Mrs. Kendro's view on this whole thing is. We got to get her on one time.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to hear her views on that.
Stacy's mother, that would be awesome.
She's such a pain in my ass. I really don't want her to come on.
Oh,
Ma,
I didn't even know she's with you. Is she with you? Let's see.
She's in the other room, but she heard you. So she can't hear anything, but she heard you say that.
Stacy,
no.
that'd be a great way to end the show. Get your mother on and give her 2 cents. Have you met Stacy's mother?
All right, let me just let her sit down here.
Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna get her mother. That's a good way to end the show. You know what I mean? You guys all been great. This has been a great show. I've had a very interesting conversation. Love you guys.
Same here.
Jay, I kind of like you.
Oh my goodness, right. Oh, the Zoom. Oh, that's so nice. Your kids from Rhode Island. Oh, you poor kids. It's like the smallest state in the world. How do you even fit a cow in there? I don't even know what goes on in Rhode Island. Oh, look at Michael Cronin. He's laughing. Is that what your name? I can't even see Mike. And the guy are you a nurse? What's his name? Jay? Are you a nurse, Jay? You look like you're in Scrubs. Are you in Scrubs?
No, not at all. Don't trust me with
Larissa's the nurse. Larissa's the nurse.
Oh, and the Larissa, and then the other girl's so pretty. Hi, Larissa. And Allison, it's so nice to see you. My daughter, I was just at the grocery store. They had tomatoes on sale. I got like 5 tomatoes for $2. It was a really good sale. I just, nobody was wearing a mask, but I don't really care because, it doesn't even matter. I don't know. I'm just starting to get upset about it all. There's too much news. I can't watch all the news. Everybody's going to die.
Oh.
So what have you been up to, Mrs. Kendro?
Well, I don't know. I try to go with the shows with my daughter, but she doesn't want me to go. She's always telling me to be quiet. I like to go and talk to the other comedians. You know what I mean? Everybody's so depressed. I just want to go to a show. And then my daughter tells me to be quiet because she doesn't like because I always talk to one of her friends is Rich Carucci. He's very cute. I sort of like him a little bit, but he's too young for me. But anyway, what are you kids doing?
We're just wrapping up a Zoom, Mom. We're wrapping up a Zoom. We're getting ready to wrap up. We're really glad you came on to close out the show.
And one of the girls is going to be my daughter-in-law, okay? I don't know which one it is. You guys flip a coin because I got to get Rocco the Albanian. I got to get him out of my life, okay? He lives with me. All right? So he's very nice, and, you know, he has a lot of money. He has a Mercedes because he thinks he's Italian. All right, so just one of you can, I'll just marry you off. Can we do that?
Be right over for tomato sandwiches, Ma.
Okay, then you win.
Allison will go with Rocco. Although we did like Larisa last time.
Rock is Rocco world.
I can share.
Well, it's good to see you, Mom.
It is.
Okay, well, I'll make you some lasagna or something next time I see you, okay, for your show. Let's all put together a show.
Mike.
I love Mrs. Kendro.
I think Mike would be good to go. You should date Mrs. Kendro.
I think so.
It'd be a long distance romance from New York to North Providence, but I
Hey,
think
you
it could
know,
be
hey,
something.
I'm single.
Only 8 years difference. It's not a big stretch.
Oh, I know, right? Same church, different pew. Oh, man.
Let's
I'm
give it up
crying.
for Mrs. Kendro.
I'm
Mrs.
crying
Kendro,
over
wrap
here.
the show
I'm
off.
crying over
Okay.
here.
Oh, I forgot my swim cap on. I always forget it on, but, you know, I do the synchronized swimming. I just came back from the synchronized swimming.
Wow, what a lady,
Oh,
Mike.
my
Stacy,
goodness.
for once. She's out of her
Oh,
mind.
man. Oh.
Well, we gotta wrap things up. Allison, you got anything to say? Final word? It's been a great show. I've had a great time.
Always a pleasure, brother. Thanks for having me on.
How's the twins doing? Your daughter had beautiful twins.
Fan freaking tastic.
How old are they now?
19 months. They're twins, but they are nothing alike. They don't look alike. They don't act alike. They're at that age where they can't speak. So this is the answer, you know, constantly clawing at each other and punching and kicking, but they get along great too. It's awesome to see them.
That's great, Allison. If you ever need anybody to watch him, Jay Burns is available Tuesday nights.
His picture's at the post office, Johnny. Don't you know that?
Jay, you got anything to say to wrap it up in your scrubs?
I'll babysit the kids.
Hey, Mama. Be right over.
What do you got to say, Jay?
I thank you guys for everything. I love you all. You're wonderful. Mwah. I can't wait to start working with you guys again.
I
And buy
can't wait
Allison's
either.
book.
We'll get some burlesque going. We'll have Larisa and Allison and Stacy's mom dancing in the show.
Oh, is
Cronin,
Jay going
Mike
to take
Cronin.
his clothes off?
Jay, yeah, he takes his clothes off.
And
Jay.
trivia,
Mike, what do you got to say to wrap it up? Final thoughts.
I am humbled and honored to be a part of this show. Great show tonight. Larisa, Allison, Jay, great to see you all again, catching up, shared some great stories. We all cracked open our chests. We were honest on dating and relationships. Stacy, it was great to see you. Mrs. Kendro, I love you. I love you dearly. That was the absolute laugh that I needed. I pray God's favor over each and every one of us. Comedy is going to come back. God's children need to laugh. And when that happens, the doors to these venues will swing open. In the name of Jesus, they will. And they're going to look to us to laugh. We will laugh again. As the word of God says, he will yet fill your mouth with laughter, and your lips with shouts of joy. That's Job 8:21. God bless you all. God bless you, Mrs. Kendro. I love you, woman. Love you.
God bless you, Mike.
Bless.
Larisa, what do you got to say for your wrap up tonight?
Well, I was thinking Mike just gonna get down on his knee and propose to Mrs. Kendra. I was waiting for that moment.
I almost wet my pants. That's how hard I was laughing. I had tears coming out of my face.
Stacy, Mrs. Kendro, you got the last word of the show. What do you got to say?
We'll get married on the next episode, okay?
Love it.
That'd be good. We'll have an episode with Cronin and Mrs. Kendro get married. That'd be awesome.
Mike
Jay Burns can be the flower girl. I'll be the flower boy.
I'm legally ordained. I can actually perform the marriage.
So you can marry him. I'll be the flower guy then.
Okay.
Bring the flowers down the aisle.
Oh, boy.
I've been down the aisle so many times, I must have carried flowers now.
I do, and I need it this time.
You guys have been great. It's been an awesome show. I don't even want to end it. It's been so much fun.
Yes.
Allison, Mike, Jay, Stacy, Mrs. Kendro, Larissa, stay healthy. Comedy will come back. We'll be back at it. God bless you guys. I had a ball tonight. Thanks for coming
Thank
on,
you.
everybody.
I'll
Thanks for
see
coming
you
on.
guys.
God bless.
One of our best shows. You guys are awesome, man.